Welcome back to Highlights. This is a podcast where we highlight a work of the Brotherhood that may be well known, maybe not well known to you, and we take some opportunities to sit down with these good brethren and figure out what they're doing to make the kingdom just a little bit of a better place and help provide material, sound, and capable for us to just, from the push of a button, locate what we're looking for. I have Wayne Rogers with me. Wayne, welcome.
Welcome.
Really? That's it?
That's it, man.
Okay.
That's all I got for you.
And we have a brand new guest, first time ever on the Scattered Abroad Network. His brother's been on before, and hopefully after tomorrow or Thursday morning, depending on Lois's schedule, hopefully at that point we will have had like 3/4 of the Webster clan, be on this podcast. That'll be great.
Awesome.
And so I'm looking forward to that. But David, welcome in.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And
Thanks
so
for the invite.
We want to talk to you about what it is that you do. So I'll go ahead and just give you the chance to define your title, define what it is you do for House to House, and then there's a specific thing that I think people would really benefit from that we'll talk about after that.
All right. So the funny thing is, for those of us at House to House and Polishing the Pulpit, you have a title, but really your job is whatever they tell you to do, which is a good thing. I enjoy it. But my title is Social Media Manager. So I work with the social media, some email marketing, some website. I also work with Rob at the School of Evangelism. He calls me his IT guy, so that's fun. But yeah, so my main role is social media and marketing.
Nice. And that brings me to the thing that I want to talk about, because I was unaware of it, admittedly, until you asked me to do it.
Yep.
And then I was terrified because I've been asked to do it a few different times, and I never could get it to work because of different things going on. Finally, when I was able to do it, I was out of town in a hotel room, and I had to record 4 one-minute spots for the month of, February, I guess, or whatever it was, and send them in, and I was all up in my head because I'm used to having...
Say it ain't so.
Oh, I know. It's crazy, right?
It would never happen.
Kick rocks, man. Don't even do this to me. I was so concerned because I'm so used to recording something like in a controlled environment like my office. And if I'm recording in my office, it's understandable that all I've got's a Logitech Streamcam and that's it.
Yeah.
But when you're in a hotel room, you're supposed to have something. And so I probably re-recorded those like 10 or 15 times before I sent them to you.
That's hilarious, yeah.
And even the ones that I sent afterwards, I was like, I don't know. I kept waiting for you and expecting you to call me and be like, so we got someone else to do this instead, someone that knows what they're doing. But you guys have been doing on the House to House Instagram page reels. Now, stay with me if you don't know what a reel is, because even I had to ask this. Reels are just the short form videos that Instagram allows you to post, right?
Short form, yes, sir. So basically any video under, I believe, it used to be a minute, but I believe they upped it to 1.5 minutes now. But anything 1.5 minutes and under is called a reel. It shows up in a different place in your timeline, basically.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about them is they get better reach. So that's why I ask you or whoever. I think Wayne is up on the schedule eventually.
Don't mess up.
Eventually,
But,
yes.
Don't mess
Yeah,
up.
so that's why we ask
I'm
them
in
to
my
do
head
it.
now.
They get more reach. So,
And how long have y'all been doing this now?
so I'll say about 2.5 years. So it's been a good little while. Yeah.
Wow. That's a longer
Yeah, they've
time
been
than I
out there,
thought.
and they do, because I've just kind of noticed, just because you had sent me several of them, to think about doing it this way or something.
Yes, yeah.
And here's a couple examples of what we're looking for, and so I was just looking at them. They have a ton of views, man, and so that's pretty amazing how far-reaching they are.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's no secret. Like, even on my personal account, even when I'm not on House to House, if I'm just scrolling, some of those videos, you sit there and they're like 10 minutes long. You're like, oh, I don't want to watch that. But some of those really short ones are like, yeah, those are addicting. And you sit there and after like 30 minutes, you're like, wow, I should probably do something productive with my life. But,
I remember why I got in my head. When I asked him for an example, he sent me Hiram Kemp. And I was like, come on, man.
Yep.
Yeah,
Come on,
Hiram's
man.
awesome.
What? Be this. No way. There's not a chance. I mean, I'm trying to read off of the laptop and scroll and record at the same time. And I had to buy a tripod. Walmart tripods are not designed for this activity. And I knocked it over 3 times while I was trying to film.
Oh, no.
So I just imagine the person underneath me in the hotel room was like, what's wrong with the guy upstairs? I mean, seriously, he is messing around. But I got to do it. I enjoyed doing it once it was done and uploaded. And I think it's hard for a lot of us that are in the social media game to really kind of tap into getting reels done, because a minute, even a minute and a half now, is not as much time as it sounds like. You know, you really don't have the ability. That was one of the problems I had starting out, was I'm just introducing the thought and I'm at 32 seconds, and it's like, no, that can't work. It's got to be quicker than that. What are some advice, like tips that you've given to people that have done this? What are the things you're looking for House to House as Instagram Reels?
So I'm not a preacher. I'm not
you will be.
a public
Don't worry.
speaker. Well, I know you've been trying to get me to come to the school, but so that's why I give it to people like you, because I think that sometimes, you know, that other people are going to have ideas that I won't. But what I do say, some good ideas are, it's a good idea to have a hook, is what they call it. So something interesting in the first 2 or 3 seconds. I mean, it's got to be quick, because people will scroll on if they don't, if you don't hook them. But something like a question or a statement that really grabs attention, or maybe a story that really gets people hooked into what you're saying. So in the first few seconds, you've got to hook them, and then you can get into the spiritual, or I don't want to say spiritual, but really the information, you know, the meat of the 1 minute video, I guess. But it is tough. No, it's funny because you said you had to re-record it a few times. It's funny that some people were like you, they're like, man, I sat there for an hour. I got one video done, because it's just so hard to get it done within 1 minute. Other people are like, wow, this is great. You know, I love doing this. And, you know, it gave me some ideas to do these other things. So it's like, it's cool to see how people are learning to do them. And I think that a lot of people can do good with them. Yeah.
What else you got, Wayne?
And it's when you start thinking about here's yet another tool that we're using that, you know, it kind of opens the door in social media for preaching the gospel, for teaching people the law, you know, teaching the lost the truth. And so I'm always appreciative, you know, and House is always kind of on the cutting edge of doing all of those things. And so I just appreciate all that you do.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
It's important. I mean, we have these new technological advances in social media every millisecond, it seems now. I mean, you know, the old joke is watching the Instagram reels of the funny videos. Some people say, well, I saw that on TikTok. And then you see it on Facebook, and you're like, I saw that on Instagram. And it's just everything is kind of unknown on how it works. But the visual way that we are now, pictures are great. And it's not like y'all don't use pictures. I know you still post pictures and do that. But we've become such a visual, you know, need our attention held society.
Absolutely.
That a minute to a minute and a half is about all we can do. And I blame Vine for that. And
That's a good
Vine,
point.
you know, many people are probably thinking, what is a Vine? It was a 6-second video. I mean, basically, that was all you had, 6 seconds. And there were some creators, though, that they figured out how to do that and be so succinct and quick. You know, comedians on that platform knew how to get to a punchline very quickly. But the more that happens, and the more we condition our brain to that, the more it's like, oh, we're 30 seconds in. Where's the funny? Where's the point? Where's the, you know, the thing that makes me care? So, like you said, a hook is so important.
Absolutely.
And not everybody understands how to do that. And sometimes that's the hard part.
It is.
And I remember what I had done was, you know, be weird. That was basically my hook, was it's okay to be weird. And halfway through of finishing that, I thought, okay, that makes a lot more sense than just saying, you know, the Bible says this about being weird and all of that kind of thing. It does flow better when you have a hook or a question that sits there and someone says, what's he talking about? I want to hear this now. And that came from a youth retreat we did at Somerville, where we called it God's Way is Weird. And everybody, Dave Ramsey always says all the time, everybody's normal, be weird. And I just remember thinking, well, that's what Christianity is supposed to be, is being transformed, not being like the world. So I love what you're doing. I'm appreciative of it, especially considering not that we're the only school that you've used. I know you've used a lot of the different graduates from other schools too, but it is encouraging sometimes to open up and be like, hey, there's one of my classmates. There's Wayne, there's so-and-so, and it's amazing to see that and enjoy that a lot. So I appreciate what you're doing. Do you have anything that maybe you're wanting to do that you're hoping Instagram will make available, or that you're trying to toy with?
Well, I would like to do more Q&A type videos rather than just the 1 minute like devotional style is what I call the ones that you did.
Yeah.
But really, the success recently that we've been having was with Bible Q&A. So like, I just saw David Smith walk behind me a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
What's funny about that is last week we got a message that said, "Hey, would you be willing to study the Bible? We have a few questions." That came into our Instagram account. We're like, "Of course, absolutely, sure." So Austin Fowler works with me at House to House. We take care of the Bible studies that come in through social media. So we set it up. We got on there, and at the end of the study one went very well. At the end of the study, we're like, "Hey, just curious, how did you find our account?" So he was like, "I actually have it saved," and he pulled out his phone and scrolled down through his saved bookmarked videos, and it was David Smith's video on what about the thief on the cross. And so you want to talk about a hook. David Smith is great about really all the, Q&A videos are easier to hook because you just ask the question at the start of the video. It's like, what about the thief on the cross, or is baptism essential for salvation, or once saved, always saved, stuff like that. But David Smith is great. But I would love to get back to your question. I would love to do more Q&A content because I think that those get a lot of reach. I think that they get a lot of messages, a lot of interactions, and I think they're really good about getting people to think.
Yeah.
And drawing people in, I'm sure.
Drawing people in, absolutely, yes, sir.
Yeah. I think it's great. I mean, I'm supposed to, of course, try to run the social media at the school, and it's hard sometimes to sit there and try to plan reels and do that.
Yeah.
But it's a great idea that you're doing it. I mean, it's an impressive thing having that available, and be praying for it to continue to have success.
Oh, thank you.
Have
very
you
much.
had many Bible studies come from this?
Yes, several Bible studies, 3 confirmed baptisms from Instagram.
Yeah.
Just the one platform, and 2 more studies going on right now. Hopefully, our 3rd study with these 2 people will be next Monday. So that's definitely something to pray for.
That's great.
That's great.
We'll get to 5, yeah. So we'll
Absolutely.
appreciate the prayers.
You have anything else you want to ask him, Wayne?
I don't think so.
I told him it'd be painless,
Yeah.
and I'm glad that I
that
could
way.
say that I lied. No, no, I'm thankful
Here
to you,
comes
David.
the hard questions.
I told Lois recently, and Daniel, if he listens to this, he's just going to laugh, so I don't care. He's not going to know that he's not going to think I'm serious, but I jokingly told Lois recently, like, I'm closer to you and David than I've ever been to Daniel. And I've known Daniel so much longer, but I've been hanging out with y'all a lot more recently because we, cross paths a lot more in the fields that we're in. And so getting to go to ICYC together and enjoying that was fun, and some of the lectureships and stuff that we get to see each other at. I think y'all are doing a great work. I have a lot of respect for your family and your dad. I'm jealous of our students that get to have him as a teacher. And I think it'd be great if you one day had him as a teacher in an official MSOP setting.
So when is your start date?
That's right.
There's the hard question.
Michael and I have talked about this in the past, and he knows my requirements for it. So, we'll see.
$2.2 million.
That's right.
He wants the
That's
the
just the
biggest
sign-on bonus.
NIL deal
Sign on,
ever.
yeah. That's absolutely.
Well, David, thanks for sitting down with us, and good luck, and we're looking forward to seeing some more of these Q&As and reels coming out soon.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for
you,
having
brother.
me.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. And if you have any questions, you can check out the show notes below. We'll link the Instagram account to the House to House page and some of the other things that David might want to send our way, and we'll give you the tools to find them. Until next time, take care and God bless.